So hemp is legal in Kentucky. Woo-hoo! Thanks to James R. Comer. And then medicinal marijuana is legal too, so CPDs are legal because of Julie Denton. Julie Denton is medical marijuana queen of Kentucky, at least for this year. Okay, so she is the Republican senator, the state senator from Louisville, and she got CPDs passed. And CPDs are cannabidials, okay? So, Italian seeds were put on hold at UPS at Louisville International Airport. U.S. Customs and Border Patrol, DEA, has held them away because they wanted a list of the farmers who were going to raise this stuff, because marijuana is still illegal, and that gives the federal government power, and they want to grab onto that power and hold that power. Even though it is absolutely ridiculous, the Attorney General, that mixed dude, I forget his name, but he has wrote a memo that says that Washington and Colorado, they will respect the state's sovereignty, and since the people had voted to legalize, full-blown legalize marijuana, the feds are not going to intervene with their so-called war on drugs. Uruguay and Bolivia has done some things, but Uruguay has legalized it. They're selling their marijuana right now, country in South America, and the war on drugs is such a United States thing. It goes all the way all down to the southern hemisphere. And we were mad about that, and we were trying to put sanctions and trying to stop them from doing that. Even though it is common sense, it's clearly right, it's clearly hypocritical to legalize alcohol and to not any other stuff. Prohibition didn't work. So, anyways, I think they'll eventually get their seeds, and even if they don't get the Italian seeds, if they can't get interstate commerce, if that's what the feds are trying to say, then Kentucky will learn to develop their own seeds, okay? We got the heirloom seed, and that's what really, there should be a farm that's just dedicated to growing as many seeds as we can. Historically, in the history of hemp industry in Kentucky, the seeds were always a hard thing to get a hold of. There was never enough seeds anywhere. So that's what one of those plots of ground should just be dedicated to, only getting seeds. I know they want to make money, but really Kentucky should invest in Kentucky and only raise seeds, so that way we have plenty of seeds next year for all the hemp farms. There's about 10, 13, 14 or so states that have legalized hemp, so Kentucky is not really that special. California, Colorado, Maine, Montana, North Dakota, Oregon, Vermont, Washington, West Virginia. And then you have, let's see, then there's some other states that have introduced hemp legislation. So Arizona, Hawaii, South Carolina, Indiana, Mississippi, Nebraska, New Jersey, New York, Oklahoma, Washington, Wisconsin, Colorado, Maine, Montana, North Dakota, Oregon, Vermont. Right, all these states, Tennessee, I mean, it doesn't matter if you know the specifics of them, because we have competition. That's the important part. There's plenty of competition all around through the entire United States. There's competition for our hemp industry, and so if we want our hemp industry to actually maintain and be productive and successful, then we need to step out in front of all these. So, you know, Colorado and Washington, they have a advantage over us because they have full-blown legalization, so they can be looking at THC in the buds and see what those things could actually develop. I think that's where most of your evolution and that's where that's the fruit of marijuana, is the buds. And so I think that we should pay attention to this, the most evolved plant on the planet. This is God's gift to the earth. The Tuscaroras, they knew that it was the most important plant. God themselves give the hemp plant to the Tuscarora people. They were even making hemp clothes before the Europeans even got here. So they knew that hemp was an important thing to have. So let's just go on to just read a bunch of facts. So hemp is imported from China and Canada for hemp products. So right now, more than half of Canada's hemp is sold in the United States. There is a huge market. We're getting our hemp from China. We're getting our hemp from Canada. Why? We could be raising hemp right here. What's the difference between marijuana and hemp? Not a single thing. They're scientifically the same plant. Cannabis Sativa L. I'm not sure what the L is, but Cannabis Sativa. Hemp and marijuana is the same. It's just how they're cultivated. That's it. And that's how they're cultivated determines how much THC is in them. You plant them close together, they're all stalk. You plant them farther apart, then they bloom, and then that's where the THC comes from, the bloom of the fruit. If they're all stalked, there's no THC. If they bloom, then there's plenty of THC for everybody to just chill out. And our healing power is marijuana, hemp, and our destruction is alcohol. And that's how it's been for a long time, and we seem to not care that there's such a hypocritical society. The only difference is how they're cultivated, right? The Arizona Industrial Hemp Council says that hemp has less than 1% THC, which is really, that's the definition. The definition of hemp is how much THC is in it. If they have THC, then it is marijuana. If it doesn't have THC, it is not. So you have to raise it in a certain way, because if you raise it to where it's by itself, which I don't know, if you're raising a whole field and you have one seed that kind of goes off to the side and it starts blooming, you'll have to chop it down. Is that what the DEA and everybody is saying? Probably. Marijuana's got a potency of about 3 to 20% THC, whereas hemp has less than 1%. That's the definition. So it's possible to grow a medicinal hemp plant with a massive structure. Hemp and marijuana, two races of the same species. Hemp is marijuana, marijuana is hemp. Plants close together, plant fall apart. Marijuana bud's got 10% THC. Hemp has got 0.3%. 55,700 metric tons of hemp are produced yearly. 55,700 metric tons of hemp are produced yearly. So there's, tons and tons, metric tons. It's in metric. Who knows what that means? But there are tons of produced yearly. So there's clearly a market. China, Russia, and South Korea make 70% of the world's supply. China, Russia, and South Korea. I heard that the Russian hemp is one of the most important hemp that we have out there. So, hemp is imported from Canada, it's from China, but out of the world supply, China, Russia, and South Korea is making 70% of the world's supply. More than 30 nations grow hemp. Canada exports is at $10 million. So they're exporting their hemp and they're making $10 million. It's a profitable industry. It's not as profitable as marijuana. Kentucky needs to legalize it, okay? The legislature, the 100 representatives and the 38 senators, they need to legalize the whole thing. They need to get Gatewood's plan. They need to listen to Ronnie Lee Smith. How many people have got to die before you actually listen to what they had to say? If it was legalized, then these people would not have died. They have died in vain. They were politically assassinated. Canada exports $10 million. There's money to be made. Hemp grows in 12 to 16 weeks. 12 to 16 weeks. So it takes, 3 to 4 months. 3 to 4 months to be able to raise an entire crop of hemp. You can raise it over and over and over again. You can get oil from it. You can get paper from it. You can get, it helps with the carbon dioxide emissions, and it helps with soil erosion. There are so many benefits to hemp. It's not the end-all, solve-all. We need to, find out what it is we actually want to use it for and use it for those purposes. But there is plenty of uses that we should be able to experiment and innovate and be able to find what it is. We should have victory gardens. We need to get back to victory gardens. Kentucky, we have got to innovate. We have got to do something different about what it is our failed state is doing. Letcher County has no water. A quarter of our children are in poverty. We got homelessness, prison rates, police brutality. This is ridiculous. It's a totalitarian system, and it's ridiculous, okay? We need to be smarter. We need to start our own businesses. There are no factory jobs anymore. The school system is teaching us skills and talents for obsolete skills and talents that nobody needs for jobs that don't even exist. We need to be creative, and we need to be able to think on our feet. We need to be intelligent with our decisions. And right now, we're not being intelligent. All it is blind obedience to authority. So when somebody marches outside the line, well, that's the criminal. No, that's not the criminal. That's the person that might come up with the original idea. It takes 10,000 scientists to come up with a breakthrough idea. And I don't even know one single scientist. So hemp grows in 12 to 16 weeks, right? It takes 3 to 4 months. Usually you plant at the beginning of May, May the 1st to the May the 10th. That's the traditional planting season. Hemp grows in virtually any soil, and it can flourish on mountainsides in eastern Kentucky. So it can grow anywhere, right? Mountainsides, plains, valleys. Deep roots are great for erosion control. So it has deep roots. There's no erosion that's going on. You can plant it after you plant a crop to make sure that, it doesn't go out. You probably could plant something first and then plant it, right? Grows fast, produces a high yield per acre. It doesn't impact the food chain like the corn-based ethanol. Ethanol can be used for fuel, but you're using, what does that look like to Africa when we use our corn and we burn it up to use it for fuel? We don't, we have so much food over here that we can just use it for energy, and yes, that's absolutely true. So it just doesn't impact the food chain, right? Hemp isn't, you can't really eat hemp. Well, you can eat hemp, so maybe it would impact the food chain in a good way. It's producing more food, so it's another thing, it's additional thing. It's, I mean, so many uses, over 25,000 uses. Biomass is produced at low cost with low maintenance. So, you don't really need maintain very much. You don't need pesticides. You don't need herbicides. 55,700 metric tons are produced worldwide each year of industrial hemp. Hemp Industry Association estimates the value of U.S. hemp retail in 2011 was $425 million. So just with the stuff that we buy now, the clothing and the paper and whatever it is that we buy hemp products when hemp is illegal. So we're importing hemp products, and we've spent nearly $500 million on hemp. And today we even got machines that make it easier to remove the fiber-bearing cortex from the stalk. Back in the day, that they had to do these long rope walks, and it would take forever, and you needed lots of slaves. It was labor-intensive. But nowadays, you don't need that. You got machines that can do these things. There's over 25,000 uses, and we're, that's what makes America great. We've always been the country that comes up with the next idea. We come up with the radio. We come up with the car. We come up with the internet. We come up with what? What hemp or thing are we going to come up with next? So that traditionally we've been the innovators, but that's because we got geniuses like Tesla and Nathan Stubblefield who make up, who create these incredible inventions, and then they get washed out by the Stokes of history, because really the mass, society is just a bunch of conformist devils who don't really care about the scientific breakthroughs that other people have made. Tesla, he says, when we think about non-physical matter, we will advance science by 100 years. Nathan Stubblefield created the radio here in Kentucky. He created the radio. Kentucky created the radio. And what happened to him? He dies in obscurity, a poor person. So, hemp. What are the products that we can make from hemp? I think this is a good conversation to have, because we want this to be, not only a fun experiment, but we want it to be a profitable and productive endeavor. So what are the most promising products that we can make? If hemp was such a great, as great as everybody says it was, then why did it die out? And so it's, because of marijuana and the association with it. But if it was such, if it was a great paper maker, if it was a great wood, hempcrete, you got concrete, hempcrete. If those materials are so awesome, how come there's, not such a high demand that the hemp has been wanting to be making a comeback? I think it's because it was a labor intensive, so there's a lot of money that it took to be able to create the products, and so the market actually wasn't there for a lot of the stuff. Making it illegal definitely makes it to where there's no market whatsoever. So I think we got to find those markets which it would be efficient and economically viable to actually get ourselves into it. So with hemp, we can produce more than 25,000 uses for, there's paper, clothing, cosmetics, construction material, bricks, hempcrete, automobile parts, right? Henry Ford's car, foods, nutritional value. There's like shakes and beer and tea and wine that you can make. So lots of different types of food and nutrition, thousands of products. Paint. You can have paint, personal care products. It's good for skin, food, body products, clothing, auto parts. In Georgetown, Toyota uses hemp panels with its Camry. So the Toyota Camry, they use hemp panels in Georgetown, Kentucky. So if we have hemp now, we can have lots of car parts that's actually made from it. When Henry Ford made his, it was 10 times stronger. The hemp material was 10 times stronger than steel and 12 times lighter. So that's good for fuel. That's good for everything. I mean, I guess you don't want it just to blow over. You want it to have some weight or whatever. But to make it lighter, that means you can easily pick it up if it was like, in a ditch, or if it was in the water, and stronger. So it's stronger than steel, like steel. Like strong steel is? If it's stronger than steel, you can have skyscrapers that go 10 times taller than steel. If it's 10 times stronger, then it can go 10 times farther. 10 times stronger. That's incredible. Hemp, and it's a plant. So we can have a plant that's stronger than steel. So paint, building materials, auto parts, twine, rope, cloth, paper. Just paper. How many, we can save the rainforest with hemp, right? Save the rainforest, raise some hemp. Wood, plastic. Plastic. Like, oh my God, there's so many things that are plastic out there. There's like a hemp type wood, I guess those bricks. Anything you use wood for, you could be using hemp for. Plastic, fuel, and then a whole bunch more. I'm gonna have to cut this off and list it in the next video. So check me out in the next video.